Are we stressing our minds too much?
See, when we say mind, see again
Brain.
your hand went almost
Brain.
here. Are we stressing our minds? No, there is a mind across this body. What is it that you call as a mind? A certain combination of memory and intelligence is mind, isn't
So
it?
our whole body's mind.
Yes. In yoga, we see physical body, mental body, energetic body, etheric body, bliss body, like this, everything is body. Because it is right across, it is not in any one place. Only intellectual activity is here, okay? Right now, because modern societies, particularly Western societies, have become such slaves of their intellect, because of that, they think everything is here.
Right.
Intellect works only with the data that you have gathered. You cannot function beyond your data. That means you will remain so small, because even if you've read the libraries on this planet, what you know in terms of data is minuscule compared to what this cosmos is. With that minuscule, you think you're very intelligent because you're analyzing and processing. Anyway, all these people who think they're intellectually very smart are going to feel dumb, stupid in the next 5 years because your phone will be far more smarter than you. Already people are calling it a smartphone. See, why would you call somebody or something smart? Only because it's smarter than you, right?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Otherwise you wouldn't, all right. So right now, too much dependence on intellect because our education systems are crafted like this, not exploring other dimensions of intelligence at all. See, intellect, if I ask you this simple question, would you like your intellect to be sharp or blunt? Choose quickly, I'm going
Sharp.
to bless you, yes.
Sure.
So essentially, intellect is like a knife. If you want to dissect something, it's very good.
Yeah.
So, now the only instrument that you have is a knife in your hand. You want to stitch your clothes. If you stitch your clothes with the knife, what will happen? You will be in tatters.
Right.
This is what is happening to people's lives. They are trying to fix everything with their intellect. The harder they try, the more tatters they have become. With all this education, tell me, uneducated people are more unhappy or educated people are more unhappy in the world?
It depends what type of education.
No, generally illiterate people in the rest of the world, tribes and this and that, even in India, many people.
Whenever I visit, I go to Guatemala almost every year, and I visit small villages, and the kids seem so happy.
Yeah,
Seem
because
so
they didn't go to school like me.
They don't have much, but they have family, they have community.
What do you mean they don't have much?
I mean, they don't have much in terms
They
of
are
the
not
material world.
environmentally disastrous, that's what
Right,
you're saying.
Right, exactly, yeah. They don't have a lot in the material side of things, but they have a lot in their hearts, richness, connection, community, love, and they seem very happy.
Essentially, uneducated people or illiterate people are happier than the educated people. With education, your life should have become better, isn't it? Unfortunately, they're becoming unhappy simply because they only have sharpened their knife. And a sharp knife in your hand and you're unconscious, you're cutting yourself all the time. All the time cutting yourself.
That's
You
painful.
don't need any outside help.
You could stab yourself.
Yes. So people come to me and say, Sadhguru, my boss, he's horrible, my mother-in-law, she's not even human, my wife, she's such a pain, my husband like this. I say, you come here to the yoga center, I'll make sure your boss, mother-in-law, wife, husband, nobody enters this place, just you. I'll give you a nice place to live, good food to eat. Nothing to do, just be happy, that's all.
Yeah.
You must be just joyful. I'll make random checks on you. If I find you unhappy or miserable, then I won't feed you because I don't believe in feeding misery. If you remain joyful, I will feed you for the rest of your life and take care of you like you're my prized guest. But if you show misery, we won't feed you. Well, you leave them in one room for 24 hours. You will see in how many ways they'll twist themselves out, it's unbelievable. Because when you're alone, if you're miserable, obviously you're in bad company, isn't it?
Right.
I'm with you, I'm miserable. I think it's because of this guy I'm miserable, this guy I'm miserable. I'm sitting here alone and miserable. Now who?
Right.
Who is causing misery?
How do we get out of that, though?
No, essentially one must understand human experience is caused from within, not from outside.
Right.
What we do, arrangements we do outside in the form of home, family, automobile, this, that, these are arrangements to facilitate our activity. They are not going to make you happy or unhappy, but right now, the car sellers are telling you, only if this is joy, this car… I'm sorry, I'm not against any brand, I like the brand. They say this car is joy, somebody else says this car is love. Oh, all the best.
This is power, this is… yeah.
Power is okay, car has power. But where is love exuding from the engine or joy exuding from the engine, all right? Power, all right. But right now, if you… this is something I've been noticing, it's only in recent times, probably last 10, 15 years. If you look at any car advertisement, I look at every advertisement, whether they're selling an automobile or a machine or a crane or an earth mover, because I'm interested in anything that works, not that I'm going to buy them. So when I look at it, car ads, nobody's telling you what's the engine, what's the transmission, what's the power, what's the torque, nothing. They're talking about the leather, they're talking about the wood paneling, they're talking about the stereo. Are you buying a sitting room? You want to buy a drawing room or do you want a car? If I want a car, I would look at the engine, how it is made, what does it do?
Right.
No, nothing. Only…
Why is that?
Because they're buying a car for neighbor's envy. They're not buying a car because they love to drive a good machine.
Yeah.
It's always about being better than somebody else.
Why do we obsess over that in general? And is that mostly in America, or do you see that all over the world?
No, it's everywhere. America kind of setting the, path breaking.
The standard. We're the best at trying to be the best.
So this is unfortunate cultivation that is happening from kindergarten. If you're going to school, what your parents will say? You must be number one. If you are number one, what about all the other 30, 40 kids who are there? They must be below you.
They're losers.
They're losers. So your joy is only in other people failing. When your joy is about other people's misery, that's not joy, that is sickness.
Phew.
Right now, whole world is invested in this. It's not just America. America kind of displays it like that. Not that it's not there everywhere else in the world, everywhere it's there. But here it's being shamelessly displayed, they are little shy everywhere rest of the world, but still they got it.
Yeah. What would the world look like if we chose to lift everyone up and celebrate other people succeeding or being happy, or whatever it looks like for them to succeed? What would the world look like?
See, I see in America, everybody keeps talking about family, family, family. But you've forgotten just maybe a century ago, maybe a century ago or even 70 years ago or 50 years ago, if you said family, it meant crime.
Why?
Because the families were running the crime,
Oh, wow.
The Cosa Nostra.
The family crime, gotcha, yeah.
They always refer to crime as family, because family is a crime.
Really?
Let me come to that, I know this will get me into trouble. Let me come
Explain it to me.
See, there is only one crime and there's only one evil in the world, that is limited identity. How much crime you will commit simply depends on how empowered you are.
Say it one more time. How much crime you…
Commit simply depends on how empowered you are.
How empowered you are.
Yeah.
So do I want to be…
If you are highly empowered and your identity is very limited, you will do terrible things. So the most important thing is to enhance or to expand one's identity.
How do we do that?
See, for example, traditionally in the yogic culture in India, before we start education for a child, the first and foremost thing is that he must take a cosmic identity.
A cosmic identity.
Yes, he has to take that.
What does that look like? So if I'm a child and you're teaching me this…
So the thing is, one thing is there is a mantra which says that he has to say it again and again. He has to look at the sky and say it, he look at the earth and say it, look at the air and say it, look at the fire and say it, all the elements of water and say it, because these are all the composition of the cosmos. You look at empty space and say it, you look at water and say it, you look at fire and say it, you look at the earth and say it, so that you understand your identity is limitless. Why this is being done is… Why this is being done is, education is seen as an empowerment. You should not empower a person who has a limited identity because he will cause havoc. I'll take the worst example which will get me into trouble.
Sure.
See, everybody talks about, you're not even supposed to mention this name, Adolf Hitler. Well, many people have been there who caused enormous pain to other human beings. But I don't think anybody managed to organize it, mechanize it, and really deliver it like a factory of misery, like this man did, all right? It's a factory.
Yeah.
Literally a factory of misery, manufacturing misery, properly organized. But do you think there aren't thousands or hundreds and thousands of people with the same mindset in the world?
Absolutely.
They are. Only thing is they're not empowered like him. Competence is the only thing that's lacking. Tyranny is there in people's mind. They're as much tyrants as Adolf Hitler. You may find them in a school teacher, you may find them in your parents, you may find them all around you in your neighborhood. Only fortunately, they're not as potent as that man. That man is super competent, that is what the problem. So right now, human competence becomes a terrible problem simply because you have a limited identity. So, you invest your identity in a family, you invest your identity in a community, race, religion, nationality.
Your relationships,
Tell me, in the name of nations, in the name of race, in the name of religions, in the name of communities, how many terrible things have we done in this world?
It's still happening today.
No, the most terrible… leave what's happening today, just look back in the last 100 years.
All for someone's identity, pride, country,
Yes.
city, state, religion, all these things.
How… you just take 20th century, okay? 1 century passed, 21st century is just progressing now. 20th century, take it. In the name of race, what all have we done to each other?
Yeah.
In the name of religion, what all have we done to each other? In the name of nationality, what all have we done to each other? Just look back and see, we've literally killed half the world's population in 20th century.
Because of identity.
Yes, of a philosophy, of an ideology. People have killed, all right?
Right.
So, limited identity and empowerment is a disaster. But we are continuously cultivating this all the time. So I said family is crime because family is the first identity that you take. After that comes community, after that comes maybe race or religion or nationality. Right now, nationality is reasonably the largest identity you're taking. Within this nation, it looks nice that you're committed as an American to the well-being of America.
Right.
But just see who is fighting who in this world. A good Indian is fighting a good Pakistan. A good Hindu is fighting a good Muslim. A good American fighting just about anybody. Because you never fought a war here, you go out and fight all over the world, all right? Well, you will find reasons as to why you fought that war and the heroic nature of it. I know people who lost their lives believing that they're doing the best thing in their life, yes. But I want you to know that man that you think is horrible, that terrorist, that miscreant, that militant or whatever you want to call him, that guy also, like a suicide bomber, see anybody, for every human being or even for an ant, its life is precious. You try to catch him, see, he'll do everything possible to save his life. So somebody to throw away their life like this, obviously what they believe in means much more than their life.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not crazy. See, if they do it your way, it's heroic. If they do it their way, it's crazy. I'm not trying to support terrorism or something, I'm just telling you, it's limited identity. Genocides have been committed because of limited identity. Nations have been raised down because of limited identity. Evil things we have done to each other on individual level simply because of limited identity. So this is what yoga means. Yoga means union. That means you consciously obliterated the boundaries of your individual nature and your experience of life expanded. Once you sit here and you experience everything around you as a part of yourself, after that you do not need any morality, you do not need any commandments, thou shalt not cut that tree, thou shalt not kill this man, thou shalt not rob this. This is meaningless to you when you have experienced something as a part of yourself. So, The entire system of yoga, when I say yoga, I mean yoga, all right? Not the yoga that's happening in Los Angeles studios. I have nothing against them, but I'm saying we've reduced it to
Right.
something just
To build
one
an
aspect.
identity around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Twisting and turning your body, it's good for you, you'll become flexible and maybe healthy, that's good for you. But I want you to understand, would you not wish that Adolf Hitler was a sick man instead of a healthy man?
I would not wish that, yeah. I wish he was a healthy man.
Huh?
I would wish he was a healthy man.
He was healthy, that's the problem I'm saying.
You wish he was a sick man?
Yeah, wouldn't you
Oh,
be
you
happy
mean-
if he got cancer at
Oh, I see what you're saying.
25
I see what you're
and he
saying.
wouldn't kill all these people, wouldn't set up this factory?
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have died.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying health becomes a curse,
Really?
competence becomes a curse, intelligence becomes a curse. Why? Because you have limited identity. It's in that context I said, family is crime. Family is a wonderful place where people are supporting each other. Like you said, is it not important if you create a world where everybody is supporting each other to do their best? Well, that's happening in the family, that's the most beautiful aspect of the family. But why is it only limited to those 4 people or 5 people or whatever?
There's a baseline of suffering in life, and that can be exaggerated as a consequence of human failing, as a consequence of malevolence and betrayal and self-betrayal and deceit and all those things that we do to each other and ourselves that we know that aren't good. That amplifies the suffering. That's sort of the baseline against which you have to work.